Hi everyone, and welcome to today's lesson, which is about the past simple. I am going to explain how to use the past simple and when to use the past simple. First, we will look at some examples, then I will explain when we use it, and to finish I will explain the different structures in the negative and for the questions. Okay? Alright, let's not wait, let's start. And as you can see here, the past simple. First of all, let's look at some examples, and our first example is, I saw the new James Bond film yesterday. You can see here that our verb is saw. Saw is the past form of the verb see, which is an irregular verb. At the end of the sentence, we have the word yesterday. Yesterday is also a very important word here because it gives us the time of when the action happened. So this action happened yesterday, it's in the past, and it's finished. Okay, this is very important, and I will explain why after. In the second example, we have I went to the theatre 4 times last month. Here the verb is went, which is the past of the verb go. And we also have the time. Here the time is last month. Okay. If you look here, we also have 4 times. So 4 times is telling us how many times this action went, how many times you went to the theatre last month. Sorry. In our third example, 50 years ago, people didn't spend as much on entertainment as they do today. Here we have the negative form. Negative is didn't, which is the contraction of did not. And spend is our verb. In the fourth example, Josh pushed the door open and looked inside the room. Here we have 2 verbs. The first verb is pushed, and our second verb is looked. Both of these verbs are in the past simple. Here we know that the first verb, pushed, is the first action. This is the first action which happened. The second action which happened is looked. So looked, this action happened after this action, pushed. Okay. Alright, so let's look at the different reasons and when do we use the past simple. Okay, we use the past simple for completed actions. Completed actions means something which is in the past and it is finished. It's an action which is 100% finished. For example, yesterday I bought a new pair of shoes. Yesterday I bought a new pair of shoes. This action, the action of buying, is completely finished. It's completed. Okay? The third reason is for repeated actions in the past. Repeated means something which happens again and again. Do you remember the second example we looked at? The second example was last month I went to the cinema 4 times. So that is a repeated action, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went to the cinema 4 times. That's a repeated action in the past. The third reason we use the past simple is to talk about general truths about the past. So that is the third example that we looked at. 50 years ago, people did not spend as much money on entertainment. So that is a truth comparing the past and now, the present. So now in 2017, in the present, people spend more money on entertainment. The truth is, in the past, people spent less money on entertainment. Okay, that is a general truth about the past. And the fourth reason we use the past simple is to talk about main events in a story. That is the fourth example that I showed you. Josh opened the door and looked inside the room. These are different actions which are happening inside of a story. So if you write a story, most of the time you are going to write your story in the past simple. There are exceptions, of course, but most of the time. Okay, let's have a look at a quick exercise. Okay, so as I said, I've already explained some of this, but we look at the first sentence again. 50 years ago, people didn't spend as much on entertainment as they do today. Okay, this is a general truth about the past. Okay, general truth, as I said, it's something which is true about the past. Here in our second example, I went to the theatre 4 times last month. This is, of course, a repeated action in the past. It's something which happened more than once. Okay, it happened 4 times. And here I saw the new James Bond film yesterday. That is a completed action. The action of seeing is finished. Okay, that is completely finished. You saw the film yesterday. And in our fourth example, Josh pushed the door open and looked inside the room. Here we are talking about the main events in a story. Okay, we're talking about the main actions which happen in a story. In this sentence, as I said before, what is important to understand is that the first action which happened is pushed. The second action is looked. First, he pushed the door, and then second, he looked inside the room. Okay, so how do we use the past simple? We use the past simple in different ways because we have regular verbs and irregular verbs. So I'm going to explain that. First of all, let's look at the left side. So let's look here at the statement. Statement means a positive sentence. Okay. A positive sentence is to say something which is affirmative. So when we use I, you, he, she, it, we, or they, you just use your verb with ed. Okay? We use the ending ed with regular verbs. So, for example, play in the past simple is played. Cook, cooked. Talk, talked. Wait, waited. This never changes, so there's no exception with that. It's always ed. It's I played, you played, he played, she played, it played, we played, they played. That's it. It never changes. The regular verbs are the easy verbs to learn in the past simple because it's always the same. It's always ed and it never changes. However, we have in English what we call irregular verbs, and irregular verbs do make the past simple more difficult for people to learn, unfortunately. But if you study a lot, it won't be a problem for you. So irregular verbs are, as the word says, irregular. You have to know the past form. You have to learn it. Okay? There is no magic formula. So in the example here we have wrote. This is the past of write. Here we have drove. Drove is the past of drive, to drive a car. Yesterday I drove a car. Ate is the past of eat, to eat food. So I eat food every day. Yesterday I ate food. Here we have spoke. Spoke is the past of speak. And we have sat. Sat is the past of sit. So these irregular verbs, you have to learn them. What I will do, I will put a link at the bottom of this video for you to be able to download a PDF of the irregular verbs so that you can study them. But you have to study them, okay? Alright, let's look at the negative. The negative is not very difficult with the past simple. The negative is always did, then we have not, and then we have the verb in the base form, okay? So just the normal base form verb, okay? Like in the present simple, the base form, remember that? So, here we have I did not play. You did not play. She did not play. It did not play. We did not play. They did not play. Always the same, and it never changes. The negative is exactly the same for the regular verbs and the irregular verbs. So I will show you that. For example, cooked. Okay, cooked in the negative, past simple. Yesterday I did not cook. Yesterday I did not cook. With an irregular verb, for example, ate, okay, ate, which is eat, to eat food. Yesterday I did not eat. Yesterday I did not eat. So the negative form is always the same for both the regular and the irregular verbs. How do we make a question in the past simple? Okay. A question in the past simple, well, we also need to use did, the auxiliary did. So we start our question with did, then we use a subject, for example, you, and then we have the verb. So for here we have, did you play football yesterday? Did you play football yesterday? So that is always the same, and it never changes. You have did plus your subject plus your verb. Did she play football yesterday? Did we play football yesterday? And it never changes. So you need to remember that a question in the past simple is with did. You start with did, then you use your subject, he, she, it, or somebody's name, Peter. Did Peter, and then your verb, play. Did Peter play football yesterday? So just to finish, I'm going to give you a few more examples so that it makes it a little bit easier for you. Okay. First example, did you play tennis yesterday? As you can see, we have did, then you, our subject, play, the verb. Play tennis yesterday. Yesterday is the time. In the past simple, we need to mention the time. Always think about saying when the action happened. Yesterday, last week. In the second example, we have, did you have breakfast this morning? This morning is when. It is telling us when the action happened. And in our third example, did you go to work last week? Did plus you, the subject, plus the verb, to work last week. Last week is again when. So as you can see, in all of these examples, we are talking about when the action happened. We need to mention, we need to say when the action happened. Okay, so that's it for today. I've shown you some examples. I hope that's clear. If you have any questions, just write a comment at the bottom of the video and I'll be more than happy to help you, of course. I will put some PDFs very soon at the bottom of the video too, so that you can download the irregular verbs, and also I will put some exercises for you to do. So you'll be able to download some exercises to practice with the past simple, with the statements, so a positive sentence, a negative sentence, and with the questions. The next lesson I am going to make is going to be about the past continuous. So I'm going to explain about the past continuous, which we use with the past simple. So they go together, alright? So that will be the next lesson. I will do that for next week. Alright? Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Bye everyone.